I just want to thank you for inviting me to give this talk. I had a lot of fun making these slides, and hopefully we have some time for discussion. These are my disclosures based on businesses I own and investments I've made. There's no industry involved. So just to clarify, what is a brand? On a very elementary level, everyone has a brand. It's really your reputation. So if your reputation is that you're the go-to surgeon that everyone calls, that's your brand. You're always available. What's not as strongly done in the medical field is building that brand and taking advantage of the strength of having a brand. So here are some definitions. It's kind of chicken or the egg. Does branding come first or marketing? Branding is really, what is your message? What is the value that you're providing? Whereas marketing is basically selling. So whether it's advertising or promoting, social media is considered marketing, all meant to protect and add value to that brand. But branding always comes first. So the best branding is done by companies like Nike. They have a brand promise, and that is that to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And if you're a living being, you're considered an athlete. Their marketing, though, is just do it, and they have a lot of different ways of promoting the just do it tagline. As a medical example, I think Mayo Clinic does an excellent job of branding. The Mayo brand, everywhere in the world, they understand is very patient-centric. You go there, you'll have all the doctors come to you. What your problem is what they're going to try and solve instead of sending you out to different referrals and it takes months to take care of you. You go there, you get one visit, all your surgeons and specialists see you, and they provide excellent care. Their brand promise is to solve the most serious and complex medical challenges one patient at a time. So the patient is always part of that, and those are the Mayo brothers that's right in front of the hospital. But they do also very good marketing. They were among the first hospitals to actually have a website. And if any of you search any disease process, you always see mayoclinic.org have some topic on the hemorrhoid and the acid reflux or whatever it is. They're always front page. So patients are automatically learning about a disease process with the Mayo Clinic. Marketing, they have now multiple satellites. You can have Mayo Clinic in the Middle East. You have Mayo Clinic all over the United States. And they maintain the same brand as part of their patient care. MD Anderson, another great brander. They are very simple. They have one brand promise: eliminate cancer. It's a singular disease hospital. In fact, you cannot be treated at MD Anderson if you don't have cancer. And their marketing, their logo actually represents their brand. Big red line across the word cancer. So why would you want to go that way? Why would you want to invest in that? You're already a good surgeon. Why would you want to be even better? There's a great book that I recommend you read. It's a little thick, but fun to read, called Good to Great, where it kind of talks about really good companies and what makes them want to become even better. And understand that building your brand to get there is time consuming. You need to have a lot of patience and discipline, but it's definitely worth it. So first you start with a mission statement. What do you want to be remembered as? That's called your brand messaging. For BMW, it's the ultimate driving machine. For Kaiser Permanente, the word is thrive. They want one word. And every advertising they have is about having you live your best life. And as Gao showed, basically, you actually do live longer if you're a Kaiser patient, They live up to their brand messaging. And then stay focused on that brand. Don't sway from that focus, because then you'll develop recognition, there'll be some trust in you in whatever your brand focus is, and then you'll have an emotional connection, and there'll be a recall. So these are the strongest US brands. Coca-Cola is always number one. The loyalty to Coca-Cola and providing that refreshing drink is pervasive. Apple, another one, huge loyalty, recognition, there's a trust in it, and you want to be that strong brand. You have to invest in your brand, and that doesn't mean just spending money. It's also your time. So the value of a brand has to do with financial value, but also the percentage of value that the brand itself provides to whatever it is that you're promoting. So subtle things that can represent you, like a style guide, even a color that can represent you, can be part of your brand, your logo. If you're on social media, have a consistent voice. Don't just randomly post things because you think it's fun. You got a picture of your kid and a picture of you skiing and then also talking about, a gallbladder operation. That is not good branding. You want to stay very focused on your messages. So let me explain to you very briefly the birth of my brand, Beverly Hills Hernia Center. I went through all these stages. I was academic, four-year university, tenure track. I was community practice, academic. I eventually, in 2013, opened up my hernia center. And I got the help of a branding and marketing expert from Hollywood. I didn't want anyone in medicine helping me. I think medical doctors really don't do a good job of understanding that market. So he was great. He said, "What do you want to be remembered as?" I said, "Hernias, just hernia. You think of hernia, you have to think of me. Like my name, my face needs to pop up. All things hernia." And I wanted to be great. I wanted to be known as I'm the best choice for your hernia care. And I wrote down my aims. Very simple. I want to treat hernias and hernia complications, hernia-related complications. Very simple. That's kind of what I want to do. And I want to provide quality care. I'm done doing quantity care. I've worked at a county hospital, just hundreds of patients weekly that you see and take care of. That was not where I wanted to be. I wanted to focus one patient at a time and provide quality care. And then my goal was to really have a significant impact in the direction of hernia care, to have some type of significant kind of role in developing new products, developing new surgical techniques, new ways of diagnosing and helping patients. So I started just sitting down with this business advisor, and he's like, "All right, let's work on your logo. We picked a color. That's important. It's very simple. It's an H. That's hernia. It's actually within a hexagon. When you draw a picture of your belly, when you're trying to draw out the patient's incisions, it's a hexagon. So there's some thought put into this. It's kind of clean. And then my website represents the same brand of just kind of clean, calm. There's a picture of me smiling, not a picture of me with my arms crossed and being very intimidating surgeon. I have those pictures, but it's not on my website. And then my tagline, it's not just a hernia. Dr. Tajirian actually came up with this, and I stole it from her, and I give her credit for it. But when I do social media or whatever, hashtag, it's not just a hernia. It just means so much based on what kind of work I do. And then here are my investments. I did have to invest. I have nice office space. I want people to feel very calm and it's a clean space. My employees are all wonderful. They're very heavily paid to always be available for my patients at all times. We have some swag. We have pens and t-shirts and so on. I invest in my research fellows because I feel like the research aspect is a huge brand value for me. And then I spend a lot of time. I don't just go in the office, operate, and come back home. I do research, I publish, come to these meetings, give talks, international talks sometimes at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, talking about hernias. I spend a lot of time on social media. I have a hernia talk brand where it's very patient-centric. And that's really kind of what I choose to do. A lot of people tell me, "Why do you even go to this meeting?" Or why do you start doing research? First of all, I enjoy it, so that's the best part, but I feel that differentiates me from others as well. But I made sure I stayed on brand. I got out of general surgery call. That was my choice, but I felt like doing a gallbladder or a perf bowel was not on brand, and I didn't want to go there. I've done that enough, and even though it meant I had less patients, it allowed me time to work on the rest of my practice. I turned down non-hernia consults. A lot of the attendings at the hospital, I was their resident, and I was a pretty damn good resident, so very reliable. And people that knew me on medicine liked me because I was the nice surgeon. So they kept calling me, "There's a chest tube, can you put a chest tube here? And we have this transplant patient with a white count, he's probably perf, can you go in?" And I started saying, "By the way, I just do hernias now." I kind of made it nice, and in some way, they're totally nice about it, but I kind of was "Stop calling me on a Saturday night to take care of these ICU patients because that's not my purpose anymore." But Every time they have a hernia patient, then they call me. So that also kind of reinforces my purpose. So that did give me a lot of time to kind of build the rest of my practice, and it's a very slow process. To stay on your brand, pick a focus, and over time, go narrow, don't expand. And you need to get out of the churn business. I'm not saying this is for everyone. I don't want you to think I want everyone to be a specialist. But if you really want to build your brand, you can't be in the churn business. There's no long-term value in that. The cost of acquisition is high if you're not narrow. There's a great story about Ford spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and every year half of their clients, would leave. Huge issue. So now they're the F-150 Ford truck specialist. Like, that's their focus. Everything else is kind of secondary. So it's important that just being a good surgeon is not enough. People have to know that you're the good surgeon. Otherwise, they'll never find you. And the more you build your brand, the less you have to spend on marketing. It's a slow process, very disciplined, but it grows over time and can have a life of its own. Doctors are so used to providing a service, and we forget that the experience is also very important. And volume is not necessarily the sign of success. It's great to be a busy surgeon, but there are only so many hours in the day and so many days in a week. So once you've saturated that, then what do? You really need to build your brand. And the goal is to increase your income per time effort. This graph, the zigzag up and down that's flat, is marketing. Every time you pay for an ad, you get an uptick and then it goes away. The purple line that goes up is what branding does for you. And eventually over time you have that kind of emotional aspect that adds, so that you don't need to keep paying for the marketing. The strongest brands have also engaged employees that can help grow the company faster than their competition. And they convey a mood, so there's consistent messaging, differentiate storytelling, and personification. And so I'm just going to give you some quick examples. Let's say you're an academic practice. How does branding have to do with me? I'm in academics. Well, you need to figure out a niche in that academics. Maybe you're the sarcoma specialist. And then you start becoming an authority by publishing or doing research. And you know what? Then you get the grant funding or maybe industry partnership, and you get the promotion. But that's your brand. That's your niche that you must grow. Maybe you do what I did. I was in academics, and I developed my niche in hernias, and I started becoming more popular in the hernia world. Patients were coming to me not because I was employed by a certain hospital, but because of me, myself. So I decided to leave and kind of bank on my reputation and go into private practice. If you're in private practice, develop a focus or niche or whatever your reputation you want it to be, so that you gain reputation or become an authority in a certain specialty or style. And then you can grow. You can make extra money with industry partnerships. You can expand your practice and have multiple offices with multiple doctors working under you. But because your brand is well received and trusted, doctors will send to your specialty office. Maybe you can gain an employed position, whereas you didn't have it before, and have more stability. Or you can maybe have an exit strategy and sell your practice. So in summary, building your brand is very important, and it's actually worth the effort. This is a graph on strongest brands versus the S&P 500, and they're always outperform the average company. And let me tell you, we had COVID. If you had a good brand, you were much better at weathering that storm than the average surgeon that had really no branding behind them. So it is worth the effort. This is my last slide. If you want to read any cool books, these are great books. I've read a couple of these. They're fun. I'll wait for you to take pictures of it, because it's kind of fun, this whole branding thing. I have a lot of fun with my advisor. We meet every Monday and talk about business, and it's like the highlight of my week. I love it. Thank you very much.